Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Chris Praedel. I'm Executive Director at Community Homeworks. We're so glad you're here joining us either today or a recorded episode. I'm very excited to introduce two of my favorite people, Michael Evans, Executive Director of the Kalamazoo Literacy Council, and Kito Jumani Marshall, who serves a dual role and multiple hats, both as the person who manages all the marketing and fund development for Literacy Council, but also serves as one of our directors on the board of directors at Community Homeworks and is chair of our marketing committee. So super good to see you guys, and thanks for joining us on our fourth Let's Talk Housing series. And today we're going to pivot a little bit, and we're going to stretch a little bit beyond just what you would think of as housing, but talk about a very important topic to our community, and that is adult literacy. And so thank you guys so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and so just to precurse this a little bit, so Michael has been Executive Director of the Kalamazoo Literacy Council for over 10 years now, coming up on his 11th anniversary, which, I mean, is been incredible. The organization has seen tremendous growth in that time period, to having a governing board, a growing staff, further reach and growth, and serving people in our community and meeting people where their needs are. And so, thanks for your continued service, both of you, and for all the great work that you're doing. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So with that said, I would love to start off and, have you share a little bit about the Kalamazoo Literacy Council and, just I guess if you could, just the abbreviated cliff notes of, who is the Kalamazoo Literacy Council and what is it and what does it provide the community?
Sure. Thank you for that. The Kalamazoo Literacy Council, we're a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping adults to reach their full potential by providing literacy and language instruction. So we train volunteers in the community to help adults to improve their reading, writing, spelling, comprehension, computer, and language skills, with the expectation that our tutoring and our support as far as instruction will help adult learners in our community reach their goals, whether it's to improve their reading skills for their children or as parents or as employees. We want to make sure that they have those access to those free services that help. So we are the only organization dedicated first to helping to improve the literacy rates for adults, and then focusing those efforts around the goals that adults have, how to be better and more capable parents and first teachers of their children, to be more capable employees, and to just be more proficient and functional in our community. So we serve all of Kalamazoo County, and we're looking to support all the adults who need us, knowing that there's quite a few, 25,000 or 13% of our adult population in Kalamazoo County struggle to read, and that's why we're here.
Thanks for that. One of the things I failed to mention in the intro is, why we do these Let's Talk Housing series of programs, and part of it is, because there's great information and resource to be shared with the entire community. But the second reason is because we get a lot of calls every year and every week even from people looking for help and resources, and it's we might think in our head that that literacy and the ability to read and write is something that is, far in between. But, we talk about this all the time, that there is a far spectrum, and all of us are on a spectrum of our ability to read and write. And so this provides us ability when we have each of these episodes to share it with individuals. And so if people are looking for resources or could use a little help, working on an application or just want to, utilize some of the services, it gives us a chance to share a recording. And, instead of just saying, hey, call this organization, it gives us a chance to give them something to watch before they call the organization. So, we appreciate that. Would you mind sharing a bit about, how you mentioned the numbers, 13%, 25,000 people in Kalamazoo County, which, we always reference like Western Michigan University, and think of all the buildings and support staff and faculty and staff that manage that infrastructure to manage 20,000 students. But, we're talking a scope of 25,000 people in Kalamazoo County. What would you say is the state of adult literacy in our county, in our area?
Thanks to community collaboration and our ongoing work as an organization over the past 10 years and more, through our Everyone Needs to Read Adult Literacy initiative, it's certainly improving, but it has a ways to go. We have a plan to make sure that every adult in our community has access to free adult learning services, beginning with adult literacy in every neighborhood and every zip code that needs it. When we first started back in September of 2010, we had 49 volunteers serving 55 people. So if you look at it statistically, that's probably one of the most lopsided equations, is 55 people receiving basic literacy services against the 25,000 who need us most. We worked over the years to really start building our capacity to serve this issue better and to talk about literacy in the ways that adults have the most need. And again, it's as parents, as employees, and as community members. We work to build community literacy centers. Our goal is to have 25 community literacy centers in the neighborhoods with the greatest need. We have 15 that have been established. We built a virtual learning center to make sure that learning is available anytime, anywhere, in any way for those learners who want to have that access from home, particularly now in the COVID-19 pandemic. And we started to think of our volunteers as not individuals who are tutoring exclusively one-on-one, but as a collective or a faculty that is capable of working together to serve more learners better. So those original 49 volunteers has grown to over 200 that are working together as a connected faculty. We added an ESL, English as a Second Language program, because we feel that language acquisition is a part of our mission. And we've been continuing to expand the capacity ever since. But the key thing is the direction we are moving toward. What we're looking to achieve is not reaching those who can find us, but to achieve the goal of reaching everyone so that we can have a fully literate community. And that means we need to have more people who are engaged and more services that are available in every neighborhood and every zip code that needs it. And I haven't found a neighborhood that doesn't.
Yeah, that's awesome. You know, you've been a tremendous resource to organizations throughout the community too, who are service providers. And, you know, a couple months back, you were gracious enough to come and join our team and really fired our team up about really getting serious about how we approach our application materials and our access materials to our organization and how we interact with individuals we serve in the community. And so, you know, we have had a chance to send a member of our team to our tutor training, which he enjoyed very, very much. And he's come back and given us a lot of great ideas and input. But also, you know, you shared some other things that that you recommend for organizations and some things that we should be cognizant or think about. And I just wonder if you could share some of the things, you know, just to abbreviate it again, you know, about some of the recommendations and things that you shared with us as an organization, and maybe some other organizations out there look at this and say, oh yeah, you know, we should really be thinking about the same thing.
Thanks again for that invitation. The point that we see, the way we see literacy is not a skill that you either need or don't need, or you can have or not have. It's not like basketball. No one is going to have any problems with you if you say, oh, I don't play basketball. I mean, that may make it so you can't play the game, but it doesn't dramatically decrease your ability to be able to seek your full potential. But literacy is a different type of skill. It's an essential skill. And we see it more as a right and less like a dispensable skill. And if that is true, that means that it is our obligation as an agency to work with every other organization and every other population that can help and get them to be more aware of what this service looks like and what the need looks like. So literacy impacts every facet of our lives. That's a reason why this intersex housing, is because literacy is so important. And some of the things that we look for are ways to be able to improve the environment of adult learning so that more adults can walk with confidence into places where they can learn, as opposed to feel like, well, I'm embarrassed because I don't read very well or my English isn't very good. We need to work as a community to make adult learning something that everyone is a part of, because we truly are. I mean, if you're a college student, you're still learning. If you're an executive director going through workshops and trainings, you're still learning. If you're a marketing and development coordinator, you're still learning. Lifelong learning institutes, it's a whole pursuit. But our job is to make sure that learning is accessible and attractive to those who need us most. So we don't think of literacy as a preschool for adults. That's not what it is. What it is lifelong learning that begins with the literacy levels that you are at to help you to reach your goals in parent literacy or workforce literacy, health literacy, and other things. What we look for in partners and what we need in our community are organizations that embrace that. They look at it the perspective of how their services are provided. Do they have accessibility when it comes to reading, or those literacy transactions, as I call them? Are they in such a way that an adult learner who may struggle, would they be able to find help if they need it, or be served in a way where they don't feel stigmatized by how they are treated? In other words, if you hand out applications to them and they seem to have some difficulty with it, instead of expressing shock or outrage of, oh my gosh, I noticed that you can't read very well, or you filled out that form and incorrectly. Instead, you're saying, well, we have a way to be able to help you, and there's many people who need that help. So can we work with organizations to change the culture of adult learning so that when you walk into the door of any organization and have a literacy need, there is a service that is there and a welcoming voice to make sure you're pointing in the right direction for literacy? So we provide literacy advocate orientations to raise people's awareness of the state of adult literacy and how to approach adults in ways, if they're struggling readers, that are less stigmatizing and more accessible and welcoming when it comes to providing services, and also finding ways to be able to improve those literacy transactions to make them less traumatizing and difficult, not just for our adult learners, but for everyone. Why do we have documents that are so important for adults written at above 10th grade level? Leasing forms, housing forms, job applications, all those things that are so important. If they're written that high, it makes it so as a barrier, not just for those who struggle to read, but for all of us. So one of the things we do is we look to see if we can revise those documents to make them more accessible to everyone in plain language that makes sense. So that's some of the things we look for, as creating that environment that is welcoming for adult learners, improving the literacy transactions to make them much more accessible, and having a message that says that learning is for everyone, including those who struggle to read. We're all on that same path of learning, and we should make sure that everyone's included in it.
Well, we definitely appreciate that. As part of our new strategic plan that our board will be, approving here in very short order. One of the major tenets or the themes of our strategic plan is barriers to access, and so adult literacy is a key component to that. Certainly, language and So it's definitely a component of that, and so it wouldn't have been possible without your engagement and support. So thanks for that. Keto, I don't know if you'd be willing to kind of chime in here a little bit too, but for the next question, this kind of talks about that intersectionality, about that as a good segue that Michael brought up. But where adult literacy and home ownership could kind of coincide, and you're kind of part of both worlds. So I don't know if you want to chime in here as well, but I'd love to hear from you guys. In terms of like what you hear and see, like where you could see some challenges arising. When it comes to home ownership, it's a key issue that we're facing here in our community and around the country, and so just would love to get your thoughts on that and share with everybody.
Yeah, hit the nail on the head just now when he was talking about some of the important forms and documentations that we rely on as adults to help, frankly, manage our lives. And when we think about home ownership, think about the fact that that's something that a lot of times isn't passed on generationally. And so you've got folks coming into that home ownership realm that are brand new to this, to the process, which in and of itself can be quite overwhelming, as I'm sure we all know and have experience with. But if you're coming at it as an adult learner with, say, a learning deficiency, or coming in with some sort of deficit in terms of your literacy, you're at even more of a disadvantage. And so that's where we start to see some of that overlap between the populations that we serve at the KLC and the populations we serve through CHW. Everything along that homeowner journey is so critical and so important and has such strong ramifications. It's absolutely essential that not only are those documents crafted initially with a more accessible reading level, because I hate to say lower per se, but with a more accessible reading level, but also we need those partners in place that can help remove those different types of barriers along the way to that home ownership journey. So again, we start to see some of that overlap come in as far as where we serve and where some of our partners serve. It really is a fully integrated process, and a need that we all have to serve.
Yeah, for sure.
I'd like to add some other more additional practical reasons why you look at literacy and home ownership. At this point, the housing market is very competitive. And if you struggle to read, how are you going to find where the houses are available and be able to make an offer in time, fill out an application in a way that showcases your eligibility and your fitness as an appropriateness as a potential homeowner? So if you can't fill out those information correctly, accurately, and sometimes eloquently, you just won't be seen in comparison to others who are on that same home search. The other thing is you won't really know what the market looks like because you will only know what you see. You'll drive by and see a sign that says for sale, but when you go to a website and look at what the housing market looks like, do some comparative analysis, can you look at your own financial records, understand them well enough to be able to see if it fits within your budget, how do you improve your credit, and all of those things where literacy helps you. So it's an advantage to have a higher level of literacy, especially if you can focus your efforts around home ownership. So when we design our tutoring and instruction, we look at the goals of our learners. And if they said, you know what, I want to be able to find a house a little bit better, that's what we're going to talk about. This is what you need to look, use the websites. Here's how you can decipher what the square footage is, how many bedrooms, and how you can make the comparisons to see if this is the right home for you. So you could truly be shopping for a home instead of taking what people tell you is available. That's a key distinction. You can only follow what people tell you. So these are great houses for you, as opposed to saying, well, I actually have another list of selections that I would like to pursue that I did on my own. And we look for that type of empowerment and independence so that if that is your choice, you have the ability on your own to be able to decide what's best for you, as opposed to relying on the expertise of others exclusively to tell you what your life should look like and where you should live, how much you should pay, and what you should do to be able to walk your way through that process. So it's very practical to have literacy skills to make it so that you're much more proficient in that journey to home ownership.
Yeah, for sure. And one of the things that we frequently talk about as a team as well is about, that we see it as a large role. One of the reasons we do the education that we do is to empower homeowners so that they have the confidence so that when a repair person or a maintenance person comes into their home, even if they're not the person doing the repair or the maintenance themselves, that they have the confidence to know whether somebody's trying to pull something over their eyes, and that they have the confidence to say, like, no, I don't think that's the right approach or whatever. And and so much you think about even just like the mortgage process, or you'd like to think that everybody has the best intentions, but there may be people out there who are repair individuals or maintenance individuals or people who are looking to sell a home or land contract that do not have people's best interest at heart. And so being able to be fully empowered to feel confident to make those decisions that are very important life decisions, like a house is so critical. And then being able to confidently work with people when you need to maintain or repair your home. It's just incredibly important. And I just remember when my wife and I took out our mortgage, I just remember sitting there at like the title agency and all those long pages that they have, and they just, okay, flip and sign this one, flip and sign this one. And I can't imagine, especially for all of us, that's overwhelming, I feel like. And so, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Thanks for sharing those thoughts as well. So, if somebody's watching and, say they're working with us and they did get that application in the mail from us or emailed to them, and, they're just looking at it and it's just like, wow, I could really use some assistance here. What's the best way to get a hold of Literacy Council and, see if maybe they could either get some support temporarily or get on that path to meet with a tutor or join some classes?
Well, sure. The most direct route is to look at our website and check out the services that we have at www.kalamazooliteracy.org. Now, if that is a barrier, you want to get a direct phone message, call our number, 269-382-0490, extension 222. And the reception that you get once you talk to one of us is we will help you receive the services that will help you reach the goals that you've chosen. So whether that's a private tutor or an English as a second language class or a jobs class or financial literacy class, all of our services are based around the needs and the goals of adult learners who come to us. And all of our services are free, and we want to make sure that there are no barriers to learning. So give us a call, visit our website, and our navigators are really, really great at being able to make sure that the options for learning are known, clear, and the goals of our learners can be met through the services that we provide.
Yeah. What would that look like? I mean, say if somebody was like, yeah, I'd love to meet with a tutor, on a weekly basis or whatever, like, what does that look like? Is there, could you describe like what that process looks like and what they could anticipate, what that might look like?
It's a very interpersonal process. The first thing is we need to know where you are and what you want. So we have assessors, if they're looking to have a private tutor, that will sit with them to find out where they are when it comes to their literacy skills and what they want to do with them. So this assessment starts, and it's a conversation to see what the goals are and where the levels are, but also to get an idea of what the learner really truly needs in the type of volunteer tutor or instruction that we have. So it's a personal experience. All of our assessors, especially as they're coming through our adult tutoring program, these are volunteers who are incredibly skilled because they have been tutors for many years, but they also have worked with so many learners that they understand what it's like to get them, what they need to do to get them comfortable to talk about what their needs are.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, it gets better. So they have a goal that's been established. Now they have an opportunity to be able to be matched one-on-one with a tutor. And these tutors, these are volunteers who we've trained from the community, and they're very eager to be able to have that experience of helping someone to reach their goals through literacy. So they arrange for tutoring sessions, whether they're virtual or when we get to the ability to resume more frequent in-person tutoring, they meet with their tutor once a week, sometimes more than that, to really focus on the skills that they need. And it's at the pace of the learner as opposed to at the pace of what the tutor wants to teach. This is not like K-12 school where there's a grade that you have to pass by the end of the semester. It's more based off of the pace of the learners, the goals of the learners, and they have the option to be able to say, I like this, or maybe I want to try something else.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really designed to make sure that adult learners have control over their learning, because they should. When I go to literacy centers, one of the most frequent questions that I ask learners is, who's in charge of your education? And they should say, yeah, I am. You are in charge of your education. Who you tutor with, where you learn, and what type of subjects that you're pursuing. Is it digital literacy for computer classes? Our job is to make sure that it's responsive to them, but also to make sure that where they're learning and how they're learning, they feel supported in a culture of learning that's designed around them. So it's not that you're reading at third grade, so you're going to be taught like a third grader in elementary school. That's not how it is. It's you're reading at third grade, and we're going to treat you as an adult because you are, and help you at the skill level that you have to reach the goal that you're looking for. So if it's financial literacy, you just happen to be reading at third grade level, but what are you really interested in? Make the money that I have last longer. That's what the lessons are going to be about. Our job is to make sure it's accessible to you at third grade or at 12th grade. Doesn't matter. So it's a very personal service, and it's designed around the goals of the learner, and we want to make sure that their preferences are followed in every step of the way. The final thing I say is our navigators, one of their promises they have is, we will be with you every step of the way. So it's not a phone call and good luck as much as it is let us make sure that we make it easy for you to be able to have a direct path to the services that serve you best.
That's awesome. It's very much a meet you where you are kind of mentality, which has, been such a barrier for so many adults, for decades, when it comes to trying to, restart that education continuum, if you will. So, if you were, say, a 36-year-old person out there who's watching, or, is thinking to themselves, I don't know if that's for me. I know I would definitely appreciate the support, but I don't know. What would you say to them?
It is for you if you want to make some improvements towards your goals, and literacy is one of the things that will help you. It certainly is. You can start at any time. It's never too late to learn. But more importantly, we arrange our services around your lives. So we're not asking you to drop out of your programs, or to be less present for your children, or most importantly, to take time away from your job. We arrange our services around your life. So we say, what can we do to make room for learning in the schedule that you have? So if you want to learn in the evening, we can do that. During the day, we can do that. If it's in the morning, we can do that. So it's available to everyone. We just want to make sure that they know that when they make this request, that they will have a response that really will help them and meet their needs, as opposed to, well, I don't think you fit our organization. We are designed to fit you, as opposed to you meeting some threshold. If you struggle to read or want to improve your English fluency, we have services that can help you, and we'll arrange them around your priorities.
That's awesome. That's great. Well, just to kind of wrap up here, any kind of like final thoughts that maybe we didn't ask or that you wanted to make sure to share with anybody?
Well, at least for me, one of the things that I really hope people can gravitate toward is the Kalamazoo Literacy Council. Yes, literacy is our mission, but it's a community issue, not an agency issue. We believe that everyone should care and everyone can help. So we look for ways to be able to create avenues for people to get involved, whether they're a volunteer or a partner such as Community Homeworks, or if they just want to be able to support the expansion of our programs by giving to it, or just being able to spread the word. Everyone can help and everyone should care, because literacy is more like a right and less than like a dispensable skill. And if it is truly a right, if even one person is deprived of it, we as a community all should care. And if there's any community that can achieve a fully literate community, I just have the confidence that Kalamazoo can do it. We have the Kalamazoo Promise. We have Western Michigan University, K College, KVCC. We have libraries that try. We have school systems that care. And we have a community that has embraced learning for decades. So why not achieve that threshold of a fully literate community by working together? We can't do it by ourselves. So we say everyone get involved.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would just reiterate, visit our website or give us a call and just let us be there. Like Michael said, we can't stress enough that we really are motivated by the needs of our learners. And so we don't force fit, we don't try to offer something that our learners don't need or don't want. We very much meet them where they are, and everything we do is designed around them and the goals that they have. So whether it's something sort of intangible, if you're dealing with sort of the stigma of being an adult learner, or you're dealing with a very tangible issue like a housing form or a job application, we have the resources, we have the partners, we have the in-house staff, and we have the volunteers to help. So just reach out and give us a call.
It's awesome. Well, thank you both so much for being here this afternoon. It's great to see you both, and really appreciate your time. I know you both are incredibly busy, and Keto, thanks for all your leadership as well and involvement with both organizations, but certainly, leading our marketing efforts. It's been great to work with you as well. So thanks you guys for your time.
Thank you very much, Chris. It has been a pleasure.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Thanks everybody. Thanks for watching. Yep. Okay. Have a great. All right. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.